Now, from the WCCO Live Desk, you're watching CBS News Minnesota.
Hey, good morning. I'm Maria Lizignoli, and it's 11 o'clock live in the WCCO newsroom. Well, this just into our newsroom. Right now, the Minnesota Department of Safety, along with community members, are remembering missing and murdered Indigenous peoples. You're taking a live look at the Minneapolis American Indian Center, where the event is just beginning. Now, Indigenous women account for less than half of Minnesota's population, but they make up 10% of missing women in the state. Now, the annual Missing and Murdered Indigenous Relatives Day of Remembrance and March begins at 11 at the Minneapolis American Indian Center right here. I want to show you some video of last year's event. The point of the march is to make sure the memory of those lost is kept alive and to acknowledge the relatives that they have left behind. In about half an hour, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey will sign what the city is calling groundbreaking agreements with Xcel Energy and CenterPoint Energy. Here's some information. The city says the landmark deals advance goals to become carbon neutral by 2050. It also better protects residents and improves data sharing and transparency. We'll learn more about all of this when Mayor Frey speaks at 11:30 this morning inside the Minneapolis City Hall Rotunda. This morning, businesses in South Minneapolis are devastated after a water main break left a massive mess on a busy stretch of the street. City leaders tell us the water main is fixed now, but the problems are far from over. This is what the 50th Street and Penn Avenue looked like earlier this morning, but here is what it looked like when we were on the scene yesterday. It took nearly 5 hours for crews to stop the flood. The freezing temperatures froze the waters and caused extensive damage that will take extensive recovery efforts to help save these businesses. City Council members have this message for residents.
The coffee shop and the paperback exchange suffered a lot of damage. But as they open up, what the nearby residents can do is to go there to utilize their businesses.
And crews will be finishing surface road work to hopefully open the section of the road today. The cause of the water main break is still under investigation. All right, I want to take a live look outside right now. This is outside the WCCO station, and you can see our weather tower is off, but not a ton of snow out there right now. That's going to change in the next several hours. So let's check in with next weather meteorologist Adam Del Rosso for a look at our Valentine's forecast.
Good morning, Maria. Yeah, we're getting ready for another dose of some snow. Thankfully, this is not going to be a major storm for us here, but still impacts, especially for anyone heading home from work this evening or perhaps going to your Valentine's Day dinner plans. We've got winter weather advisories along and east of I-35. These start at 2 this afternoon, go till midnight across eastern Minnesota, a little bit longer through Wisconsin just because it's going to take longer for that snow to move on out. But all of it just to let us know that, hey, give yourself some extra time and slow it down on the roads. We'll take it hour by hour on future radar. Still at noon, not much going on. It's once we get toward 1, 2, 3 o'clock that we see this batch of snow develop practically right over top of us. It'll continue to shift eastward as we head toward 5, 6 o'clock. So again, snow still coming down pretty steadily around dinner time. Once we get closer to 7, 8, 9 o'clock, the heaviest will be shifting eastward into Wisconsin, but still some light snow along the I-35 corridor through about midnight. Once we get past midnight, a lot of it shuts off, at least the accumulating snows will, with maybe just a few lingering flurries as we head into our Saturday morning as you're waking up with Reg and I. How much are we expecting in terms of accumulations? I still think 1 to 3 inches is a good amount here for the Twin Cities, as well as areas north of I-94. Once you head into southwest Minnesota, it's going to be less than an inch. But once you get across far southeastern Minnesota into Wisconsin, that's where we have the potential for a little bit more. 3 to 5 inches is our forecast here. And if you're a snow lover and you're hoping for this to be a more robust system, this is one of the ways we can show that for you here. The best chance of seeing 4 inches or more of snow confined to this little bullseye as you get to the east of Winona. That's the best opportunity. But even still, Eau Claire back toward Albert Lee and around Rochester, a moderate chance of seeing 4 inches or more. What we have more confidence in is the colder air that's waiting for us behind the snow. We have another lobe of Arctic air that's going to be dropping southward as we head through the early and middle part of next week. Look what that does for our wind chills. Monday morning, Tuesday morning, and Wednesday morning, pushing 30 below, maybe even 35 below Tuesday morning. Oh, that's going to rival what we had back in January, with afternoon high temperatures on Monday at their lowest, maybe not even getting above zero. We're still in the single digits Tuesday and Wednesday, teens for our highs Thursday, and it's not until next weekend, after this one, when we get those high temperatures back up in the 20s and 30s, closer to average. Bundle up.
All right. Thank you so much, Adam. And just like with the next weather, we want to get you ready for the days ahead. There are some weekend events or places for you to check out. And here's some options. You could head all the way up to Scandia, Minnesota for a 2-mile snowshoeing loop at Rustic Roots Winery. It takes you through the beautiful vineyard property, followed by a celebration of locally made beverages at the finish line. We're talking wine, mulled wine, cider, and beer. 10% of proceeds go to Touchstone Mental Health. It's good to stay active during these winter months, but you can also do it with a wine walk. The event goes from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. You will want to pre-register online. Or escape the cold weather and dream about hitting the open road in a brand new RV. Camping World's Ultimate RV Show is this weekend at the Minneapolis Convention Center. There are more than 300 fully staged recreational vehicles for you to hop in and envision your next vacation or maybe retirement plan. And maybe the best part, though, is admission is all free. The show is open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. If you're a fan of space, you could take the family to Space Fest at the Bell Museum in St. Paul. There will be crafts, games, opportunities to learn all about our, quote, chaotic cosmos, they say. The museum says to get ready for crashes, explosions, and astronomical anomalies. This event is sensory friendly and held in an accessible space. The event goes from 4:30 to 6:30 and tickets cost $15. A St. Paul Suburban High School dance team is now making history. They're gaining momentum right now. It's the time of the state tournament, and it starts today. The Jazz State Tournament begins at 11:30 today at the Target Center, and the High Kick State Tournament is tomorrow. What a fun time of the year. I always love watching all that. Well, let's check in now with Mike Max for a look at some of the stories we're following today in sports.
Good morning. The Minnesota Timberwolves went to the All-Star break on an up note, beating the #1 team in the Western Conference, Oklahoma City, 116-101, snapping a 7-game win streak for the Thunder. Chet Holmgren came back from injury to play in his hometown. The Wolves played a number of rookies and second-year players and got a big boost for them. Naz Reid led the way with 27 points. Gopher women's basketball team fell in overtime to #9 Ohio State on the road. It was a good one. They had to rally from a 12-point deficit to send it into overtime, falling just short. Still NCAA tournament hopes alive. Tonight, the Gopher hockey team takes on Michigan. The last time they played them, they shut them out not once, but twice. They don't expect that to happen again.
It's never going to be like that again. Like shutting out Michigan 2 times like that. I don't know if that ever happened in the history of Michigan hockey. So aberration, take it, run to the bank, put it in, because, you know, too much firepower.
The Gopher women's hockey team takes on St. Cloud State. They lost and did not look all that good against Wisconsin last weekend. Not many teams do. So this is a rebound weekend, they hope.
There's still so many points on the line here. We can be anywhere from 2nd in the league to 4th in the league when it's all said and done here after 2 weekends, and same thing with national implications as well. So it's a big weekend for us.
Tonight on WCCO TV, a special edition of the rally. 3 players from the same high school basketball team are all cancer survivors. We'll bring you their story tonight at 10 on the rally. For CBS News this morning, I'm Mike Max, and that is your Morning Look at Sports.
Maxie, thanks. Are you looking for a special someone this Valentine's Day? We have some tips on your dating profiles. But first, sports betting supporters say they hit the jackpot, but there's a problem. As Caroline Cummings reports, the plan allowing you to put money on your favorite team already hit a major roadblock.
Edwards, it counts! If you thought legal sports betting was a slam dunk this session, think again. Supporters say they've got all the key players on board, including the tribal casinos, which would have sports books in person and also manage online gambling, and the horse racing tracks, which would get a slice of the revenue pie.
I believe every member of this committee wishes this bill were different in some ways. I ask you to honor the rare phenomenon of a bill which is supported by all stakeholders.
Mr. Chair, there are 6 ayes and 6 noes.
But that buy-in wasn't enough to move it forward. On a tie, it did not advance out of a Senate committee. It's not a sure bet that nothing will happen on sports gambling this year, but the bill did take a hit on Thursday. Opponents are deeply concerned about the impact on problem gamblers and addiction, especially if people can place a bet on their phones.
To think that we can legalize sports gambling but not suffer the consequences lived by citizens around the world where sports gambling is legal is a foolish bet.
Right now, Minnesota is an outlier in the country. 38 states have given it a go. DFL Senator Matt Klein and other supporters point out that people are already betting on sports just without safeguards in place. Under his proposal, there'd be certain consumer protections, like a ban on push notifications from any app, and no sportsbook could advertise at schools or on college campuses. You'd have to be 21 years old to place a bet in the first place.
A principle that I have in practicing medicine is that people have a right to make decisions, good, bad, or indifferent. They have that freedom. And if people want to wager on their phones on a sporting event, I don't think it is our role to stand in their way.
Caroline Cummings, WCCO News.
That dangerous cold snap, it seems to have now taken a tragic turn. As St. Paul first responders found a man dead yesterday morning. He was next to a building just south of Rice Park. Police say the man had been lying next to some exhaust vents where homeless people often try to keep warm. Now, if the medical examiner confirms this, it will be the winter's second death from the cold in that city. Now, there are options to help people stay